Hi, I'm Movie Man. I'm an octopus who reviews movies, and today's review is going to be on. For those of you who may be confused by the title, because you're probably wondering, like, hold on, I thought this movie was called The Watchers. Why do you have it down in the title as The Watched? Well, why it's simple, because while it's called The Watchers, like in America and like in most of the world, over in the UK and Ireland, it was given the title of The Watched. So that's why I'll be referring to it as The Watched and not The Watchers. But anyways, so I went to see The Watched yesterday. It was a film that I was quite interested in seeing because I thought it looked like quite an interesting movie from the trailers, and of course there's also the fact that it's being directed by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, Ishana Night Shyamalan. So I thought it'd be kind of interesting to see what his daughter could bring to the table with her directorial debut. Like, now, I mean, I had seen that the reviews for this one were not looking too good. But I figured, I'd give it a chance for myself. I mean, to be fair, so far this year in terms of horror, it's been quite a mixed bag indeed. Because I mean, we've gotten films like The First Omen and Abigail, which are by far the two best. But then you've also got some not so good ones like Night Swim or Imaginary. A few horror movies that I have yet to review. In fact, there's actually 4 of them now. I already know I have yet to review Lisa Frankenstein and Immaculate, and now I also have to review Tarot and The Strangers Chapter 1. So I'll probably get to those at some point when I can. But anyway, so The Watched. I went to see it there yesterday. I've seen it for myself. What do I think? In my opinion, I think I'm kind of right smack down the middle with this one. Because, I don't actually think it's really a bad film. To be honest, I do think there are some critics who are being a bit harsh on it, especially Rotten Tomatoes. Being said though, it's not exactly a very good movie either. This is definitely not up there with some of the best horrors of the year, but I wouldn't really call it one of the worst either though. Yeah, it's just a film that's just smack down the middle for me. But anyway, so getting into my thoughts on the movie, to start things off, I'll say this. The cinematography in this film is genuinely really good. What's interesting is that this film is actually set in my home country of Ireland, so yeah, it is great to see a horror film set in Ireland, I'll admit. Yeah, it's set in like this forest, and like I'm not gonna lie, I genuinely think like the way the movie is shot, it's done really well. There's honestly some genuinely really good shots in the movie, I'll admit. Yeah, it's honestly a very well shot film in my opinion. There's definitely some really great wide shots of the forest. Yeah, it's a very well shot movie. So yeah, I think the cinematography is really good. The editing in the movie I think is alright. Like I think the way the movie is edited is done pretty well, honestly. Yeah, I mean there is some nice things they do with the editing. Like it's not amazing, but for what it is, I think it's overall pretty solid. So yeah, I think the editing in this film is okay. Now the pacing in this film, I don't think is really that great. Like the film is not too long. I mean, it's an hour and 42 minutes. To be honest, I don't think the movie particularly did the best job with its pacing. Like there's an issue I have with this film, and I had a similar issue with the previous horror film that I reviewed, Sting. But to be honest, I think it's more apparent here. With like, there's kind of some scenes where like we kind of get like a bit of depth to the characters, and like there's some scenes where like we're kind of meant to kind of care about like what's gonna happen to them, but like the thing is, these kind of moments, they kind of seem to just kind of come out of nowhere, like without really that much like build up to them, I feel. So like when they eventually come in, it's kind of like kind of just came in there. I don't think the movie like really did a great job of that. They kind of could have done a better job of kind of making you care more about the characters. So when these moments do happen, like they kind of come in at the right time and feel more organic. But also something else I should mention, and like pretty much all the reviews that I've seen for this film, they've all been saying this. It's like over an hour into the movie, where it kind of feels like, you know, it should end there. But then the movie kind of just keeps on going, and they kind of like add like an extra bit into the film. And to be honest, I can kind of understand where people are coming from with that. Um, like, yeah, I mean, like, if they were, like, gonna have, that extra bit in the movie, I kind of feel like, they kind of could have done it a bit better. They kind of could have done more to kind of, sort of build up towards this. So yeah, the pacing in this film isn't exactly that great. Louis could have done a better job with this. Now, the sound and music in the film, I think, is alright. Like, I mean, it does have kind of a creepy enough score to it. And like, I think it kind of fits well enough. It's not a great score. It's not one that's like particularly very memorable, but I think it's alright, and sound effects are kind of creepy. They're pretty well done. So I think the sound and music is overall pretty solid. Then we have the characters and the performances from the cast. So starting things off, our main protagonist in this film, Mina is her name. And I think, she is an alright protagonist. She's not like a great protagonist or anything. But like, we kind of get a bit of depth to her character, and we kind of go into her past. Like we kind of get to know a bit about her. And I'll say, like, she's alright. She's not like a great protagonist, as I said, but I think she leads the film well enough, and I think Dakota Fanning honestly does a pretty solid performance and fits the character well. So yeah, I thought Mina was okay. Now the other three people who are being held by the Watchers, their names are Madeline, Kira, and Daniel. And I think they're all okay. Like they're not great characters or anything. And when we get to know more about some of them, it kind of does come a bit too soon, but as characters, they're alright. They're not like that great, but I think for what they are, they're alright characters. On this, the performances from these other cast members are pretty solid. And I do think the cast, they work off each other pretty well. They have a decent dynamic. So I think like the acting is good. And like the human characters themselves are alright, even if they're not great. Well, we also have this little bird named Darwin, whom Mina brings along with her. And yeah, Darwin, he's a good little bird. He's a fun little bird, alright. The Watchers themselves, like we don't see them at all throughout most of the movie. They kind of spend like a majority of the film lingering in the dark, kind of doing what they're meant to do, and they do come off as a little creepy for most of the film. Although I do think another problem with the pacing, we do get to see them a bit too soon, I feel. And when we eventually do get to see them, I don't think they're really all that creepy, to be honest. Like the effects for them, I'll be honest, do actually look quite bad, and they look genuinely quite funny, to be honest. So yeah, they weren't exactly all that great. But the characters are okay, to be honest, and the acting is pretty solid. But they're definitely not the best characters in a horror film, though. Now, in terms of the plot of the movie, I'll admit the movie has a good concept. You know, we've got this young woman, her car breaks down, she's stuck in this Irish forest, and she ends up in like this kind of like cabin with these three other people, and every night they're being watched by these unseen creatures called the Watchers. Does genuinely make for a cool and promising concept. Now, of course, this movie is actually based on a novel called The Watchers. And I've never read the original novel, so I cannot make any comparisons. I can only go off of this film. But for the way the movie executed the concept, wasn't horrible, but to be honest, I kind of feel like the movie could have executed it a bit better, because, like, like, the way the film kind of goes about its plot, it's not, like, bad or anything, but, it's kind of one that you just kind of go along with it. It's kind of just like, yeah, alright, sure. It's kind of just a fine plot, to be honest. Like, there are some decent suspense scenes, and like, for a directorial debut, it's not a bad effort, and I do think Ishana, kind of does a good job of, kind of having a bit of the creep factor to it, and some kind of suspense, but even then, I don't think it was executed all that great. Cause like there's honestly some scenes in here which were kind of meant to come across as a bit scary, but I kind of just found them a bit unintentionally funny, to be honest. And like, yeah, we get like scenes where you're kind of supposed to care about what's gonna happen to the character in this scene, but like, the movie kind of could have done like a better job at, kind of making you care more about the character leading up to that scene. And like kind of just some stuff like they do in the film, I just think like the movie could have done a better job kind of building up to it, kind of having it kind of make a bit more sense, and like as I said, the movie kind of just goes on for a bit like after some time, and like Ishana follows in the footsteps of her father here, because there's like a kind of a genuinely kind of shocking twist, like here, like a real shyamalan twist, that like, I mean, like, it's not one I really saw coming, but I feel like the movie kind of could have done a better job with it, kind of having a bit more build up and kind of hints towards it to kind of, help it make a bit more sense. But yeah, so the plot of the film, it's a cool concept, and like, while it could have been executed worse, it could have been executed better as well. So yeah, the plot overall just could have been a bit better. In terms of the narrative structure, like, our main plot is these four people just stuck in this cabin, and well, they go out this daytime, but they're being watched by the Watchers. It kind of is that one main plot throughout most of it, and the film kind of does an alright job, kind of making it that one main plot throughout most of it, but kind of like, because we kind of have like a bit of depth to the characters, and like, as I said, when these scenes kind of come into the film, sometimes they feel like they kind of just come in out of nowhere, and to care about the characters in these set scenes, the movie just kind of could have done a better job at like kind of making you care more about it. Too bad, but like, if they kind of just made you care more about the characters, then like I feel like they just fit in a lot better, and the payoff would be better for them. So yeah, the narrative structure overall, not exactly the worst, but definitely could have been executed better, I feel. So overall, the watched or the watchers, wherever you live, not a bad film. Like, I mean, definitely not as bad as Rotten Tomatoes has been making it out to be, and compared to a lot of the other horrors I've seen this year, it's definitely not that bad, but like, this is not one of the best horrors of the year either, though. This is just kind of smack down the middle. Like, there's definitely some things to like in here, like, there's good cinematography, there's good acting, there's some decent suspense, and for what it is, it's a cool concept, and it's not that bad for a directorial debut, but I just feel like they kind of could have executed the concept better and just kind of paced the movie better to where like you care more about the characters. So yeah, it's not a bad film, but I'll admit I think it still could have been better. So with that, I'm going to give The Watched a 5 out of 10. So with that, I'll see you guys next time, and bye.